You don't always listen.
This is a special episode of the Star Wars Collectors Archive podcast. If you would like to hear a regular episode, please listen to 59, 58, 61, 62, anything but this episode. Welcome to the Star Wars Collectors Archive podcast Celebration Special. Skye and Steve, or Steve and Skye, break down all of the action at the upcoming Celebration Anaheim. You hear all the details, and the only place you will hear all the details for the upcoming archive party. Plus, we talk about other vintage-related items and other items related to this podcast. Finally, if you want to hear the most incisive, the most fantastic interview with Mattias Rendahl, author of the new book, A New Proof, you must listen to this podcast. If you are listening in the future and you don't want to hear about Celebration because you already went or you didn't go or you're not going, skip ahead to 1 hour, 22 minutes. Then come back and join us for the rest. It's a celebration time. Yub nuts. Wampa Wampa.
Welcome to Codcast number 60.
Yeah, Steve. So we just had this discussion. This is a special episode to get us primed and ready. Los Angeles Celebration of Anaheim 7. The Force Awakens.
Yes.
No,
it's longer than our podcast.
Yes. No, it's the Los Angeles Celebration of Anaheim. And
hashtag SWCA, which is something that just, it's hilarious. That's what they're using as their official hashtag, man.
Yes, their official hashtag is SWCA. So we're going to get tons more.
Trevor Tweeter, you can start using that.
Yes, Trevor Tweeter, start using that. So what happened was we actually recorded the March episode about a month ago, but yep. I didn't want to release it because I knew we wanted to put in, quote, 10 minutes of stuff about Celebration in it.
Yes. Yeah.
It ended up being such a... we just talked for like 2 hours about everything that's happening at Celebration. And I realized no one's going to want to hear all of this later. No one's going to want to come back to their audio magazine and... read about and read about an event that they didn't go to or that they already went to.
See, this is kind of like a special edition. I'm like picturing people listening to it on their flight over, or things like that.
That is absolutely the plan. They are flying over. So the original episode 60 is now, we're just going to put this in my front pocket. And we're just going to have the Luke Hoth episode. We're going to just bring that out. That's going to have a cool story with Will Grief and Isaac Lev. And we're going to bring that out maybe in a couple of months. Maybe I get super busy and I don't know what to do. And I say, all right, we'll just drop the Luke Hoth on them, because that's a great episode, but that issue can wait. This issue is pressing.
Yes,
the only thing I will add is that I did interview Mattias. I did interview Mattias about his book, and that is coming out at Celebration, Los Angeles Celebration of Anaheim. And after the archive party, this is the thing I'm most excited for. You have to buy this book. It is absolutely going to be so exciting. So that's what this episode is going to be. None of our usual features. None of that mess. It's just going to be pure.
It's your celebration primer.
Yes, Los Angeles Celebration of Anaheim. We're going to talk about every single day, every single thing that happens. We're going to talk about the archive party, the prizes, the raffles, the food. We're talking about the podcast that we're giving, everything. And so let us begin that coverage now. All right, Steve. So we recorded the show about a month ago.
Yeah, I think so.
And I've had just sort of one of these crazy months where interviewing somebody new for a new position in the department. That's a ton of work. And
oh, yeah.
I don't know. It's just been crazy. Getting ready for Celebration has been crazy.
Yes.
Finishing making that video and trying to distribute it and all that stuff. So I don't actually know everything that's happening in Celebration, which by the time you hear this, will probably be about a week away. And by the time that, so I'm a little bit kind of like, I know what's going on, but I don't have all the dates written down. So Steve, I have a planner in front of me, and I'm all ready to talk to you because you tend to know what's going on. So we can talk about the parties, basically everything. Basically, the Kivecast is just taking over the whole celebration. Am I wrong, Steve?
It's feeling like that.
Well, that's the arrogant, annoying way to say it, which is my specialty.
I just say we're going to be very busy the whole time. Let's just say that.
Yeah. So let's kind of run things down sort of day by day. How can you spend the maximum or minimum, in the event that you want to avoid this, time with Skye and Steve? Steve, I always say Skye and Steve, but then I have to change it to Steve and Skye to seem less arrogant. But I think Skye...
You don't have to do that.
Doesn't Skye and Steve sound better?
Yeah, like whenever I'm typing it, that's the way I do it.
Well, I know, but just, like I don't.
Sounds better that way.
It's bad form to put yourself first, but it's okay. I don't stand on ceremony. I don't sit on ceremony either. Okay, so Steve, we're both getting in Wednesday night.
I'm getting in actually, late Tuesday night / Wednesday morning. But yes.
Okay. So in the event that you are really hoping to hang out with the Kivecast dudes, hang around the Hilton Hotel. We'll probably be walking around at some point.
Yeah.
Look for Steve. He's going to have giant bundles of things in his hands because
I might have like a cart. I'm imagining myself driving around in a cart for some reason.
A rascal.
No, I'm like thinking like the airport like luggage guys. Like I need one of those carts.
One of the things from Star Wars in the
hangar. Like exactly.
What are those things called, Steve?
I don't know.
Why didn't they ever make a mini rig of that? That would have actually carried figures.
Yeah, come on.
All right, Steve, we have way too much to get through.
We do.
So then Thursday day will be the big first bit of celebration.
Yes.
And we have nothing going on that day, am I correct?
Not Kivecast related. I will have to be over at the California Club booth for a good part of the day, which will be the first time we've ever done anything like this. It's weird. It's really freaking me out, actually. But yeah, I'll be over there handing out Cavs swag throughout the day and just making sure like everything's cool until about.
Well, just wait a second now. So to make that clear for people who don't understand, the California Vintage Collectors Club, Steve managed to get a place so that you can go and meet him or other members, and you can ask to get cool stuff. Like what, Steve?
So we've got stickers, we've got buttons, and we've got patches, all based on Lobart's legendary design, which is still it's one of my favorite things in the world. So the fact that it's officially sanctioned and people can actually come by to pick it up is I can't even believe it's actually happening.
Yeah, I mean when we started the club, I actually had the idea of having it be Chewbacca walking.
Yeah, like the California Bear.
Yeah, the California Bear, and we worked on it a lot. And then Bart finally came up with the dewback.
Yeah,
and so the California dewback image.
Yes.
The Californian flag, but replaced with the dewback, which is a sweet image. That's where you get that kind of swag. And I got to be honest, once people see this stuff in Celebration, they're going to be coming over to you. Because in the last decade, maybe, imagery using the California flag has become much more popular.
It's true. It's very true.
It's a great flag. And that's going to be the thing that everybody wants. I mean, that's the thing that I think Lucasfilm is just going to steal for the next... the next... thing. Just put creatures in there because it makes so much sense.
Yeah, it's funny. Like I was thinking, like the one way that they made like let me kind of get away with it and actually accept us, because like when I had to like put how many members we have, and it's like 20 maybe.
Right.
And it's like, well, it's a Southern California event. Like I figured a lot of local people will be there, and it's a good way for like people that aren't in the usual channels to find out about us. So I think it's going to be great to get some outreach for it, because yeah, I mean I'm excited, and I'm also just I'm freaked out, but I'm a warrior. So
yes, that is the source of your excellence. Righty-ho, Skye here. So seeing as this is like a all-about celebration, I think we should also mention a few of the vintage-related talks that will be happening on that Thursday. So I'm just going to jump in and every once in a while talk about the panels. So essentially, if you're a vintage collector and you want to know where the vintage collectors hang out, it's always in the collector's room. Some on the floor, going around looking for deals or whatever. But in general, we're talking 210 AB, Collector's Stage 210 AB. Let's see, Steve Sansweet is giving a talk on Thursday. Duncan and Gus will be talking about clothing. There's going to be actually a whole panel on celebration-related collectibles with Chris Georgoulias. There's going to be something about Lego Star Wars, which I know if my kids were coming, that's the only one they'd want to see. Star Wars comic art, which is pretty cool. And then our friend Brian Stillman will be showing a edited version of Plastic Galaxy from 6 to 7 on Thursday, April 16th. So Steve and I kind of jumped ahead to the party, but there's lots of cool stuff happening. And of course, if you want to actually be on the floor buying toys, Thursday is... You're not going to get good deals because all of the toys will be highest priced, but you will be getting them before someone else does. So that's how you get the really cool rare scores that other people don't. So that's Thursday. That is before the party. So, and then there is the party, which is Thursday night. And what time, people? I obviously know this very well, Steve. What time should people stand in line to get into the party, and where?
Okay, so the party doors officially open at 7 o'clock, but since we are reaching probably it's a little less than 300 people, I would suggest, lining up as early as you want. I mean, know that you're going to be able to get in as long as you have your ticket and all that, but if you want to get there a little bit early and just kind of stake your spot, and the way it's going to work is everyone who got a ticket should have either got a printed home ticket or a physical ticket mailed to them. That'll kind of just be your way to get into the door. And then from there, you'll go up to just like last time, there'll be a table set up where you'll exchange that ticket for an official pass. And if you had one of the exclusive packages, you'll get your stuff then. And it should be in an envelope ready to go for you. So that's going to be the kind of way it works. But because there's a lot of people, like more people than last time, it might take a little while to get everyone in. So...
Don't worry, the party goes until 10.
Goes until 10.
There'll be enough time to play all the games, drink all the drinks. And this is one other thing I want to say, Steve. This is an insanely not-for-profit adventure.
Oh, man. Yeah.
So the thing is, right, so there's this thing on Facebook, and I didn't even want to mention this to you, Steve, because you would have said don't bring it up. So I'm going to bring it up anyway. There was somebody who was very... intelligently thinking of selling lanyards at the convention because there's going to be so much swag. And someone else had the idea, I'm not going to name names because it doesn't matter, someone else had the idea of selling them at the party. And Steve and I were both like, whoa, no. I got called a hippie, it's okay. But like... The reason why, there's a lot of reasons why. One, all the sponsors have literally paid hundreds of dollars to do this. Yeah. And they are not going to get a penny back. And I mean, we're talking about prizes and time. I mean, Steve, I would say that you've put in thousands of dollars in terms of hours in addition to prizes, in addition to swag. I mean, really, it's crazy. So that was the main reason, was that I don't want anybody making a nickel off of this party. But if they do, it's not going to be somebody whose name does not end in B. Danley. That's all I'm saying. And Steve is just losing money, hand over fist for this thing, but obviously it's all for a good cause. So in the event that it's a little bit crazy and you don't quite get in, you are going to get what you paid for. Just know that this isn't like the rest of Celebration, where you're walking around and Reed Pop or whoever it is that's doing it is lining their pockets, and Official Picks is lining their pockets, and the only pockets that are being lined are the pockets of, like bulldogs with like how they have the lips that are just like all flappy. That's being filled with money every time that you buy something.
I like the way you put that. That's
because that's the only pockets on a dog.
That's I
mean, there's another pocket, but you don't want to put money there.
Well, no.
Actually, I think my dog has worms. He was licking that pocket quite fervently today. I was like,
oh no!
I have to remind you.
Oh, Bo! Oh no!
Oh, Bo! So, anyways, hopefully we've scared you into just mellowing out a bit. But I think it'll be okay.
No,
last time it didn't go too poorly, but this is going to be double the amount of people.
It's double the amount of people. There's a lot going to be happening, but I think it's going to be fine.
And another thing, the party starts before the convention doors actually close.
That was the other problem. When I first signed up for the room, I was told that the convention closed at 7 p.m. That's what I was told as having a booth. That's when things shut down. I was free.
What you were told.
So I was a bit bummed out to find out that it's now open till 8. I know it's going to deter some people from showing up right on time, but at the same time, it's still going to be going on for a few hours. And just know that your stuff will be waiting for you. The people will be there, and there should be plenty of food. So don't worry if you don't get there right on time. But just know that when I first booked it, it was for closing time when people could just come right over and we just continue the party.
Right.
But anyway.
And again, just imagine that you have a job. I imagine most people listening to this have a job, and you have a big project coming up, and you're the leader of that project. That's what Steve's been doing. Except he's just been doing it all basically by himself. So the party starts at 7. Yeah. The party starts at 7.
Party starts at 7.
So the party starts at 7, and what is going to happen? We just spent like all this time. We're going to post it on our Facebook page. Steve, we got to talk about Facebook, man. I actually started doing this whole thing. Yeah. There's a whole world of Star Wars collectors.
Oh my God, yeah.
That I just was totally ignoring.
I'm in the same boat, man. I posted, I think, our 5th year anniversary show for the first time I ever even ventured into one of the like huge groups and saw that like there were like 14,000 people in it or something, crazy like that. Yeah, that's a whole other.
We're definitely going to talk about that. I don't know, maybe at the convention or not.
Yeah,
but the question is, what is going to happen at the party? Well,
These are the details.
We're going to have games. We're going to have raffles, and then we're going to have just general fun.
Yes.
So, and food and drinks.
Yes.
So this is the big thing, okay? Bring money.
Yes. Cash money.
Cash. As I like to say in my house, cash.
Cash?
Bring cash. Mucho cash dolores.
Yes.
As we say in Mexico way. Down in Portugal. So you want to bring cash for many reasons. One, it's a cash bar, okay?
Yes,
but listen,
cash bar.
Do you know who pockets that money? The fat cats at Hilton pocket all that money, okay?
That's the truth. But
So don't think that when you buy a $5 Chardonnay or $7 vodka tonic, I don't know if those are the prices either. Don't quote me on that.
They might be a little higher than that. I copied their prices on the party page, so everyone's forewarned.
Look at the prices. All of that cash is going to Paris Hilton. She personally is going to be getting that money, and she's going to buy a new pair of sunglasses and then immediately throw them away because she's going to look at them in the mirror after buying them without trying them on and go, "Ew, that's cold," and she's just going to throw them in the trash. So bring cash.
That's the only exception. All the other cash will be going straight to the charity fund. So.
Yes, and this is how you're going to be spending your cash. Games. Let's talk about games, Steve. Let's talk about maybe the least the oldest holdover. Pin the shield on the headman.
Yes.
So that's where you're going to see. It was John Peck who designed it. Yes.
Yes.
So John Peck designed a beautiful picture of Headman, and you're going to have to pin the shield right in the center. The closer you are to the center, that means that you win. You can play it as many times as you want. It costs $1 to play. That's $1 cash money. And if you win a set of the old Manatee card backs, which have mostly been destroyed and are selling on eBay for $20 to $30 now. Am I wrong, Steve?
No, I think you're right. It's the great purge of the Manatee card backs has paid off.
Yes, when I cut them in half in the hotel, that was that.
Yeah. Oh wait. One other note on game tickets, just before we get into the others.
Oh, right.
The way I want to make this simple. The basic games, which we're describing now, all you need to do is just go up to the main table and you buy $1 per game. The same ticket you can use for any of these $1 tier games. So you just buy tickets at the table, and that's what you'll give to Carney, Yehuda, or Will Grief, or whoever's running that game. That'll be your ticket to play, basically.
Right. So that's right. That's the main thing, is you don't just give cash to the person who's running it. There's going to be somebody who gives you tickets. You give them cash. How annoyed are people, by the way, at this point with me saying cash? It's going to get Mike Myers and become funny again in a couple minutes.
All right.
So you give them the cash. They give you the tickets, and then you hand the tickets to the people. We're not going to release the design of the tickets. We might design something fun for the show. They might just be a roll of tickets. We don't know. You won't know until the day of. So
no, you won't.
So it's one ticket to play Pin the Shield on the Headman. Yep. Another one is the Jabba Frog Toss. Can you describe the Jabba Frog Toss?
Okay, so this is this is a new game designed by John Peck, and the way he described it to me is he found these like 3-inch long rubber frogs. Where he found them, I'm not sure, but he found them, and has designed a kind of 2-dimensional Jabba vintage, like blow up like head of Jabba the figure, which you will have to try and throw the frogs into its mouth to feed him. So basically, the way this will work, you'll have one ticket for $1 to have 3 frogs. If you make no frogs in the mouth, you still win. You can choose between a Kivecast sticker or button. If you make 1 frog, you get sticker and button. If you get 2, you get the sticker, button, and one of the exclusive Archive Party pins, which we still have not shown the design for.
But they are very cool.
They are awesome. If you get all 3, you get the sticker, the button, the pin, and a Digby patch. So you get the whole group for if you make all 3, and that's only for $1. That's a pretty good deal.
Yeah, that's $1. So no matter what, you at least win a sticker or a button. And then if you just get 1 out of 3, you get that. So a similar game that has the same concept where you exchange $1 cash for a ticket, and you give that 1 ticket to the Carney who's running it. By the way, Carney Yehuda, that's what you get if Carney Wilson from Wilson Phillips marries Yehuda. Please, Jared, work up some kind of what their baby would look like. I think it would have red hair and a wry smile.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So this is a game where there's like a vintage AT-AT, right, Steve?
Yes. It's called Ring Around the Armored Dog, based on that was that episode with CJ where he got that moniker for the AT-AT or AT-AT. So you have 3 rings to try and get around its neck. Same prize breakdown. So 1 ring, you get a sticker or button. 2 rings, you get sticker and button.
Steve,
all right, sorry, 1 ring.
You're so bad at this. Here, let me say
I'm awful. You say
okay. And it's just like it is with Jabba the Frog Toss. You get okay. See, now I'm bad at it. Okay. And just like Jabba Frog Toss, everybody's a winner. Everyone gets either a sticker or a button. You get 1 ring around the armored dog's neck. You get a sticker and a button. 2 rings around his neck. You get sticker, button, and a pin. 3, you get sticker, button, pin, and patch.
Right.
So that is a pretty darn sweet game to win. But Steve, that's kind of the simple ones, the easy ones. There's also your your more marquee games. This is for the discerning collector, okay? This isn't just for your, oh, look, I found a loose General Maydeen at a garage sale. Look, I'm a vintage collector, okay? This is some real top-shelf, exclusive, premium club, #1, Hertz Gold Club kind of stuff, okay? We have a game, okay? I'm starting to sound like those guys on QVC.
Yeah,
Cal Ripken Jr.
We are getting to QVC level. We might have to tone it down just a bit.
You can play loose figures in a jar. So it's basically your standard guess how many figures are in a jar game. And that costs 2 tickets, which costs how much money in real money, Steve?
So that would be $2 per guess.
$2?
$2 for $1 for each ticket, so 2
$1?
tickets.
Mm-hmm. $2 what?
Are we confused?
Cash. $2 cash. Yes. So it costs $2, and the reason it costs $2 is it probably won't be too hard to actually count how many vintage figures there are. I'm just going to guess. So that is that, and we don't know how many figures are going to be in there, but basically all the sponsors are just bringing some figures and throwing them in the jar. Hey, you want to bring some? Maybe that'll make it in the jar too. Usually there'll be a couple that might be kind of special. We'll see. Last year in the Piñata, we had a couple cool figures, so we'll have to see that.
Yeah.
And then this is a new one, Steve.
Yes.
This is loose jar jars in a jar. So
I'll just let you describe what this is, because I don't think I could do it. I couldn't do it justice.
Yes, we are going to have a quantity of loose Jar Jar figures in a jar, and for $5, you can make a guess. And if you guess how many Jar Jars are in a jar, you will win a jar. Okay. Now we get to the more exciting games. A little bit more of what people we've been talking about for months.
Yeah.
Now the Atari Challenge. Describe this, Steve.
All right. So this is the plan. I'm hoping that it'll work out. Trevor, our tweeter duder, is bringing a working Atari's 2600 system with the Empire Strikes Back game. He's designed a special label for the game, which we put on the Facebook page. It's awesome. It's that's the official game cartridge that will be used for this contest.
Awesome.
So this will be $1 per ticket per play. Basically, we're going to be keeping track of high scores. You have a 5-minute playing limit. So once you hit your 5 minutes, that's it. Whether you died or not.
Steve, I've played Empire Strikes Back on Atari. You're not going to make 5 minutes, man.
I figured that's going to be tough anyway.
That game is
basically
rough.
Yeah. So good luck. If you can make it to 5 minutes, you might win the championship. But so the way that'll work is we'll keep track of each person's score through the night, and the high score winner. I guess it might not be at the very end of the party. Whenever we put the cutoff in. The grand prize for that is a digital edition, I'm calling it, of Martin Thurne's The Star Wars Collector magazine from the 90s. And I don't know exactly how many issues are on this thing, but they're going to be on a little R2-D2 thumb drive. And so that, for collectors, for hardcore vintage collectors, I think that's an awesome prize. I don't know what else you would want in terms of awesome old collector history. So
right, and that's not available on the internet. You can't just go
no.
Oh, whatever, dude, I'll just go on the internet and find that because everything's given to me for free because I deserve everything because I'm under 30 years old, Steve. It's
not for long, man, not for long.
Yeah, you can't find these things.
No.
So it's pretty exciting. And then on top of that, in the event that something digital isn't tangible enough for you, my digital native dweeb, you also get another set of the Archive Party 1 card backs.
Yes.
And we should say, too, we've been thinking about giving away full sets of the Archive Party 2 card backs, but we don't know if we're going to have enough.
I honestly don't think we will.
There's going to be some like significantly rare, I think, card backs. So it's pretty exciting. If you got the Holy Grail package, you're psyched. I don't know. I start talking like Marty McFly.
It's all right.
And then of course there's the 3PO building contest.
Yes. So Bill Cable will be kind of heading this. He's got experience. He's done these things before. Basically, we're going to be doing a 32-person bracket that he's going to be running. So basically, the way it works, there'll be loose, removable limbs, 3PO parts, and a bag full of packing peanuts, and you'll be racing against another contestant to get all the pieces out and assemble them. Whoever wins that round moves on to the next. And I guess one thing he did mention, which I thought was a great idea to really throw people off, is to throw a bunch of other random figure limbs in there. And because I have, because I collect awful beat up figures, I think I have an entire bag of just limbs that I'm going to bring with me to throw into the bags to mix it up a little bit. Yeah, so that's the basics of that game. As far as the actual bracket and how that works, Bill is going to have to kind of figure that out. But you would come up with a great idea for the final rounds, guys. So why don't you?
Because it's March Madness, because it's April and college basketball is stupid. I'm sorry, I'm insulting most of our fans. College basketball is great. But so when we get down to the Sweet 2 or whatever they call the last two,
the Sweet 2, I think that's.
What's what? It's Sweet 16, Elite 8, Final Four, and then
just the Sweet 2. That's what it is. It's actually being played right now. It's Duke and Wisconsin, the Sweet 2.
They blew their wad on Final Four because it's not really the Final Four. Just because it has alliteration doesn't mean it works.
That's.
Yeah. Oh, who's winning? Is
I don't know.
Duke winning?
I'm not sure.
Boy, I'll just die if they don't.
Well, you know what's? It's funny. Tessa and I are in a total random pool for that, and she got Duke. So if Duke wins, I think we get like $50. I'm like, I'm rooting for Duke. Come on now.
Okay, good. I officially have a rooting interest. Once West Virginia went out, I didn't care anymore. But anyways, so then when we get down to the Sweet 2, you're going to have to put on a vintage Chewbacca mask because you will actually be – because that's the question is who is the most like Chewbacca? Who's the most skilled at putting on C-3PO, putting him together? The question is, will we accept the head backwards and forwards?
That was my next question. I feel like if you're really going to go for it, the head has to be switched around backwards.
Well, we're going to leave that to Bill Cable because Bill Cable
that'll be up to Bill.
An elite character-focused collector, which we will talk about soon.
Yes.
And that's his figure. And so I think we've decided, Steve, that's going to cost 10 tickets to join?
I think that's
pretty
something
high.
like that. Yeah, that's pretty high. Maybe 5?
5. Yeah. I love cash because I just like putting cash in dogs' pockets, you know what I'm saying? But the award for that is, speaking of losing money, so at the last celebration, I brought this to sell, and no one bought it, but it's one of the earliest, actually it is, I think it's the earliest C-3PO figure in existence. It's a knockoff Star Wars, well, it's actually called Space War Play Kid. It's a combination between Star Wars and Playmobil, and it's beat up. The hanger tab is not entirely not ripped. There's some wrinkles, but it's on there, and it's a pretty darn rare figure, and it's carded. And I'll put pictures up of it on Facebook. And it's C-3PO, and he's got his mechanical arm, his space gun, his TV camera, and of course his TV walkie-talkie. So this is an actual vintage toy gift, which I don't think we're giving anywhere else.
No, this is it's the real deal. So,
yep. And then finally, we've ditched a couple other ideas because they just didn't pull together. But we are going to keep the costume contest. So please, people, this is the kind of costume contest where I don't care how dumb you think it looks. if you have any costume that you can say is a vintage Star Wars costume, bring it and wear it. And I don't care if you stand up there and you think you're too cool and you're like, oh, this is so lame. I can't believe I'm standing up here with all these losers. Think about how cool it would be, even if you're just wearing whatever, a Luke Skywalker mask from Return of the Jedi Ben Cooper set.
Right.
Just think about how cool it would be if we had 50 people up there. You know? That would be pretty cool. So what we're going to do is it's going to cost $2 to enter that because it's pretty sweet because there's 2 ways to win a prize. And what are you going to win, Steve?
So we'll have 2 winners, and they will both, each winner will receive one of the Digby 4-up figures.
Right. So if you were a Supreme Master and you were one of the lucky, how many people won them, Steve?
25 of those were available for that ticket, yeah.
Right. So if you bought the super special ticket for how much money, Steve?
They were $120.
If you spent $120, you would have got all the card backs and the coin and this insane. I just got mine in the mail today, Steve. I had to sign for it with the post office guy, and I just got home from work. And I don't mean to get scatological again, but I was so happy because I was just sitting down, getting to some business, and then the doorbell rings, and I have to get my clothes back on and go downstairs. My dog's trying to get out. My kids are playing in the play date. But then it was the Digby pilot, and so I was just so happy. So we'll show pictures of it. You don't have to watch me go to the bathroom in order to win a prize.
No. Let's have them skip that.
Have them skip, unless you, of course, watch Man of Steel with me, which is a whole separate, a whole old joke. So you can win one of these Digby 4-ups, Digby Wing Pilot 4-ups, if you have the best costume.
Right.
But then you can also win one if you are just randomly selected out of all the groups. So we'll give you some manner of random selection, and we'll just pick one and give it to you. So that way, not only do you get to participate in the competition, but it's essentially a raffle.
Yeah.
And it's a much more limited raffle than the larger raffle that we'll be having.
Yes.
And you'll be participating. It'll be cool, and all those monies will go to,
best friends. Yep.
Go to best friends of. Okay, I'll stop talking about it. I'll stop talking about anally probing dogs with Keish. We'll just stick to the charity, Steve. Is that what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think we should just stick to.
Okay, it's going to go to animals and who are on the streets.
Yes.
What? Okay. All right. So that's one way of winning a Digby Wing Pilot 4-up. There are other ways as well. So we talked about the. Can you believe how much stuff we have in this party, Steve? It is ridiculous.
It's blowing my mind. Yeah.
So in addition to that, we also have our traditional vintage trash compactor raffle.
Yes.
And we might need 2 for how many.
I was just going to say, I actually went back and found mine at home, so I grabbed it. I'm going to see if, I think Brock ended up with the one from the first party, so I'm going to see if he can bring it out, because I don't think we can fit all the tickets in this thing.
It is just going to be crazy, because these are all the things. See, I'm just going to go through them. Okay. These are the things you can win for a raffle. And how much is a raffle ticket, Steve?
$1.
$1 cash. And this is what you could potentially win. And what's the limit on raffle tickets?
We didn't set one.
That's right, because there is none.
No.
Okay? So listen to these crazy things you could win. You could win the sweet Vader case patch set that's being made by our friends. A whole bunch of people in the vintage community.
Sponsored it, yep.
Sponsored it, and so it's this cool set where it makes like a Vader case, but with all of the original headers from vintage toys. Look it up. You could win one of those. That's going to be hard to track down. You could win one of Micro Rob's back-to-chamber pin sets. So he's giving away these pin sets of the unproduced back-to-chamber figures, micro figures, as pins, which is sweet. 2 one-year memberships to Rancho Obi-Wan.
Yep.
How cool is that? So you get like all the cool stuff that they give, and like that's like a real thing, Steve. Like I'm too cheap. I don't have a membership this year. I feel like I should. Actually, I feel bad. I feel like we should all support Steve. I feel like I should support Steve. Anyways, well, if you're a jerk like me and you don't have a membership, you could win an Rancho Obi-Wan membership. And if you already have one, what a cool gift that would be. You could give that to, like, I don't know, if there's like some podcast host you think is dashing and interesting in some kind of way. And that must be it, Steve. No, of course. No. 2 more Digby Wing pilot 4-ups. Mm-hmm. Okay, another way to win these things that you previously would have had to spend $120 to get. And as if that weren't enough, much like we did last time, there are vintage custom figures of characters that we have on our card backs.
Yes.
Steve, why don't you talk about that? Because I actually have to go get my charger because there's just too much stuff going on in this party. So 1 second, I have to go find my computer charger.
All right, so we are going to have another custom figure. It'll complement the awesome 4 llama tee from the original party that John Peck made. We will have the Emperor custom figure, which doesn't get a card back of its own, but has a presence on the card backs, which you'll just have to find out and see when you get yours. But
right, Steve, I believe out of all of the names that I came up with over a span of months, I think that's the only one. Well, that's not the only one, but I think the Emperor, that was the main one. I remember a lot of my names that I liked went away. So,
well, hey, there's still going to be another party, right? So
that's true.
I hope, yeah.
Well, it's not going to be for cats and dogs again. We'll have to find some other animals. Because Manatee, who doesn't want to help Manatee? Everyone loves Manatee. Manatee are coming back, Steve. They're almost off the endangered species list. At least someone was telling me that they're like having a major resurgence. So maybe a certain number of thousands of dollars from Star Wars collectors made all the difference.
I'd like to think so.
Yeah. So that's all of that. On top of all of that, we're also having silent auctions.
Yes, so this is the first time we're trying this. I just thought we have all this cool stuff. I don't think it should all be raffle prizes. So we'll see how it goes. I think we have it set up okay. It should go okay. But yeah, so we'll have your 12 magnificent Skye art card backs.
Now, you're saying this like the listener knows what these are, Steve. I've never announced these on the show. So I am going to insert an ad in which I use Bach's Cello Concerto and then try to imitate Orson Welles doing a commercial for Ernest and Gallo wine. Okay. So I am going to insert that at the end, hopefully. But I've had this idea for years.
Okay.
Ever since I came up with the Skye Coos.
Yeah.
Of taking vintage card backs, getting gesso, which is just the lightest thin layer of white paint that you use to prime canvas.
Right.
Covering the card backs with the gesso, and then writing my Skye Coos based on the character on the card back.
Yes.
So I did that. I used Sharpies. And in the area where the figure is, I've written the number of the episode that it came from in kanji, which is the Japanese writing. And then I wrote my name, Skye, and then ku next to it, but all in kanji. So it doesn't say Skye. Nice. It just has the symbol for tien. Right. And then I kind of like outlined the figure, the sort of you
gave some accents.
I gave some accents so that if you're a character-focused collector, this will actually work in your collection next to what you have. So I made 12 of them in honor of the fact that I only had 12 card backs that I'd already written Skye Coos for. If I had more, I would have written more. But I I can't tell if they're cool or not. I'm pretty sure they are, but
they're awesome, man. I'm going to be bidding on whatever one I can get.
Okay. I mean, some of them are definitely better than others. I mean, I know that the AT-AT driver, whenever people come over and look, they're like, "Oh man, that one is great." And the Yoda one seems to get a lot of good looks. But anyways, so those are going to be auctioned, and I'm not going to do more of each of these characters. So I suppose if you want these characters in, with this Skye Coup, you're going to have to get these.
Yep.
So those are going to start at $15. Right. So it's possible that none of them will sell, and I'll just take my Skye Coups home and cry into my soup. Or it's possible that some of them will sell.
Yeah, I think you're not giving yourself enough credit on those. You've had some pretty wacky ideas, but I think with these, I don't know. I personally, I hope I can get at least one, if not more. So we'll see.
Okay. Well, good. But if you're a space freak, I wanted to make one thing that, because the archive party, there's going to be at least 100 people there. There's going to be at least 50 people there who haven't heard of the show. There will be at least 50 people there who have never heard the show. Mm-hmm. And there's going to be at least 100 people there who don't listen to the show on a regular basis. So wow, this is depressing.
Hey.
Screw this party, man.
It's about outreach.
Right, it's about outreach.
Look on the other side of the coin, Skye.
So this is the thing, right? When you come up to that table and you look at Mrs. Lady Friend, when you look and you see this, you got to give the space freak thing. You're not going to have to ask, like, what is this? Why did someone write on these? Is this something? Wait, is this a thing? What is this? Is this something? Like, you're cool. You're a space freak, right?
I hope so.
So that's how I managed to take something that was nice and make it into another way to be an arrogant prick. Steve, I am perfecting this act. It's pretty bad. But anyways, so only for the truest space freaks. We know a little place on the western edge of New York where Skye Payne writes the... Western edge of New York? We know a little place on the western edge of... Do you mean Buffalo?
No, Rochester.
Well, then say Rochester.
Sorry, Scott.
We know a little place on the western edge of New York where Skye Payne writes the finest Skye Coups on vintage Star Wars cardbacks. Skye Coups? It's absurd.
Please, Skye, just record.
I'll keep going.
Like...
We know a certain party in Anaheim, California in April where... Do you want to repeat the preposition? It just isn't done.
Please, Skye.
This is It's ridiculous. I wouldn't ask any podcaster alive to say these words.
Please, Skye, just emphasize the second in.
We know a little place in the western edge of New York where Skye Payne writes the finest Skye Coups on vintage Star Wars cardbacks. Crisp, white, gessoed-covered cardbacks. Covered with black silk poetry. We know a certain party in Anaheim, California in April where space freaks convene to place silent bids to win these slices of poetry. We know a certain fjord in Iceland where Stevens brahe all over the place. Are we halfway done yet with this archive party stuff?
No, we're more than half. We're almost there, man. Home stretch.
And then there'll be 3 Digby Wing pilot 4-ups.
Yep.
So in the event that you didn't lay out the cache to get the set, then there'll be an auction, and it'll be starting at $50. But I mean, these things are. If I had not already paid to have one, I would definitely pay more than $50 to have one, because it is the ultimate reminder of the party.
Yeah, it's insane to me that they exist.
Yes.
Okay, so that's your last chance at getting one of those. And then lastly, we have this is the thing I kind of realized the theme of this silent auction is vintage themed collector made. So everything that's in it is handmade by vintage collectors. So the last bit is a Yoda Motorhead sculpture by our good friend Mark Enright, who we had a commercial for way back when the show first started. So I hope you can dig it out of the archives for this. But
I remember the theme. The funny thing is, Ron Salvatore knows the Motorhead's theme. I don't know how he sang the whole thing to me once, and it must have been the second or third episode. It was our $2 commercial. It's the only real ad we've ever run on the show.
True. Yeah.
But I'll do the ad here as well as I remember it.
All right.
Okay. Motorheads. When you want Star Wars characters made out of cement, Motorheads. So these are amazing pieces of art.
Yeah.
Yesterday was Easter.
Yes.
And I can say one thing about Motorheads is they actually do really well outside.
Dude, they do incredibly well. Yeah.
So I have had a Stormtrooper Motorhead and a Clone Trooper Motorhead that I keep in front of trees. It's just a thing in my family. We tend to put little faces in front of trees. I don't know. This is something we do. And and it's been 5 years. It's been 5 years in Rochester backyard, and these things look like they
harsh elements of Rochester.
Yeah, this is like in those commercials for Columbia jackets where they get that old lady and throw her into a ditch or something. I don't know what, but it's like
something
that,
awful.
except with Motorheads, and they are totally holding up. And before that, they were outside in Santa Barbara baking in the sun of that place.
It's like Mark has one in his backyard, and he lives in one of the hottest areas in LA, and it looks brand new. So they're awesome. If I had a yard, I would probably get more.
Yeah. So I just that's the one thing about it is he doesn't advertise them as being outdoor because he's a smart business person and he knows that if he says that and then they don't last, he'll get in trouble. So I'm not speaking on behalf of Motorhead Enterprises LLC. I am speaking just as a proud owner of many Motorheads. So I think I have 3. I have the Chewie and then the Clone Trooper and then the Stormtrooper. Nice. And you can get this sweet Yoda where it's like a full figure thing.
It's like Yoda perched on his little rock. I remember seeing, I think, Mark's drawing for this, or it was the early stages of it when I was last at his place, and to see the image, I don't think does it justice. It's when you see it in person, the draw's gonna drop.
Yep.
But the starting bid on that is $40.
Yep, that's the starting bid, and y'all can have fun with that starting bid because I'm putting in at least $40. So you're gonna have to pay more than $40 to get that.
Yeah, I think you'll probably have some competition from our friend and Yoda collector Ross. I think he'd already asked me. He's like, "Hey, is that gonna be an auction or a prize item?" I'm like, "It's gonna be an auction, man. You have a chance."
He has a chance, but when the whole world gets this song stuck in their head, Motorheads. When you want Star Wars characters made out of cement, everyone's going to come flocking. The whole point was I hid eggs behind the Motorheads, and that's the kids' favorite place to get eggs is from behind the Clone Trooper and behind the Stormtrooper. So
awesome.
That's the whole point. So
great
googly moogly. That is not even it, because one of the whole ideas behind the archive party has always been to do fun things with vintage toys, to actually get them out there. Not if it's not worth $1,000, if it's worth $10, if it's worth $20, isn't it worth more to actually play with it a couple times? What's the actual value of these things?
Right.
So that's why last time I brought Canadian coloring books that are actually fairly rare. Putting a set together is not that easy anymore. But I happened to buy a couple sets a while ago. So I'm bringing my complete set of Canadian coloring books. These are
awesome.
Mostly untouched. I'm seeing Tim Sanders colored in one.
So this is the original set from the first party?
Yes.
Oh, awesome! I didn't realize. I couldn't remember if you had collected those back after it was over or not. That's great.
Well, we should put something on the front because there was somebody who tried to take them last time. He thought they were parting gifts. Now remember that guy?
I don't remember. I must have missed that.
Oh yeah, I got a little bit uptight, but he apologized, so I won't call him out either.
All right. Okay.
But yeah, and so we're gonna have these out on the table, and Todd Chamberlain is also going to be bringing some vintage coloring books to color in.
Yeah.
And the whole idea is that we're just going to do this in perpetuity, and it's oh boy, some of these are just in bad taste, Steve. And we're just gonna keep these,
Yeah, and they need to, as long as they last, as long as they physically survive. I think, yeah.
And so we're gonna have, so just color in and write your name and put, C6 or C7 or whatever, Celebration Anaheim of Los Angeles, and just in 20 years maybe we'll have them completely chock full, and that doesn't cost anything. It's just a kind of fun thing.
Yeah.
There's one last game I forgot to mention, Steve.
The
fun meal game.
Oh, right. Do we actually have fun meals?
I have a fun meal.
All right, good. Okay.
So this was a gift, I think, from you at Celebration VI.
Oh, maybe? I can't remember.
Someone got me the Burger King fun meal.
Someone did. It might not. I think it was me. I can't remember, though. I don't want to definitely take credit, but I vaguely remember that.
And it's the one that I love that has Vader standing over a bunch of corpses.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Because it's just really funny to have Vader standing over a bunch of corpses. And there is actually a game associated with that.
Right.
And it's like a matching game, and you don't want to be stuck with Darth Vader. And so we're going to cut that out, and we're going to play it. And, whoever wins it, they get to keep the cut
game
up.
Piece? Yeah.
They get to keep the game pieces and the cut up fun meal.
All right.
And why not? I don't know. Should we do an auction for that too? Who gets to play that? $1 or $2.
That's okay.
We'll figure that out.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. Good Lord. I think, is that it for the party? Other than just drinking and having fun and all that?
Yeah, I mean, we're not. Skye and Steve will not be drinking or having fun.
I hope to at least be drinking.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's that. And then that's
great.
That's just Thursday.
Yes. If I'm alive after Thursday night, I don't know. We'll see.
And then Friday is another celebration, another day of celebration. And are we doing anything on that day, Steve?
Our primary event for Friday is our first live show, which is going to be taking place in the Collector's Lounge. So, I think it was just like last time at Celebration VI. They have a little area adjacent to the panel room where there's stuff going on. So we're doing a 1-hour live show there at 11 a.m. on Friday.
11 a.m. on Friday. Where again?
It's called just the Collector's Social Room or Collector's Lounge. I've seen it both ways, but it's basically right next door to the panel room for the collecting track.
Cool. And what are we going to be doing there?
So for the first show, you'd brought this idea up, and I thought it was great. We've kind of neglected some character-focused collectors over the months for one reason or another. We didn't get to have them on, and so I kind of reached out to a few folks to see if they would be interested and available to talk about their focus collections. And 2 people so far have said they're up for it. That'd be David Carr, who's an Obi-Wan collector, and then Ross Cuddy, who's a Yoda collector. So they're penned in to join us. Ross said he had to do it early because I think he had to be somewhere at 11:30, so he'll kind of lead off on that, I think. So we'll have those 2. I figured we'll probably recount any madness of the party the night before.
Yep.
And then we'll also have Fratastic Pete. He's going to do a kind of like live report market watch on the first day or so of the showroom floor. So that's kind of the basics of our first show.
So that's 11:30 a.m.
Nope, 11 a.m. I hope you're there, man.
That's 11 a.m. on Friday at the social room.
Yeah.
But you'll know what it is when you get there.
Yeah. As long as you can get to the collecting track panel, you'll see the social room. It's always right next door.
Good. And then at 1 p.m., Steve and his lady friend are going to Star Wars Speed Dating Swingers Edition.
Oh, man. See, you're
presented by Fandango Nerd Night and Plato's Closet West. So that's going to be good.
Dude, I need to get that picture of me.
Oh, yeah.
You have it, and there's also one of us with a Wampa, which I never saw. You gotta send me those, please. But yeah, I don't know. I think I'll be...
No, I just saw that the Star Wars Speed Dating, that they have hetero and LGBT versions.
Oh, okay.
Which is really cool. Like, I think that's really neat. I'm going to guess that it's going to be a lot more successful if you can just say, yeah, why don't we just all be men? Because there can't be that many women looking for love in a Star Wars convention. But who knows? That's very heteronormative of me, Steve.
All right. Okay, so Friday. We're still on Friday.
Yes.
I don't really know. For me personally, I know that night is the unofficial, official room sales, right? So that's late night at the Hilton. I'm sure it's been said before on the forums and Facebook groups and all that. Basically, you just need to find the Hilton and find a bunch of people carting stuff around, and you'll find the sales. There's no real way to know exactly where it'll be until it happens. But that's the target night is Friday night.
Yes, and there is an outside chance that I might be involved in some kind of weird thing. I'm not going to go much more into that.
That's all right.
But there's a chance I'll be involved in some weird thing. And in the event that it is, I may wind up selling a lot of stuff at the room sales.
Oh, man.
So I may just basically decide to sell whatever I have that's not Chewbacca, because it may make that other thing more interesting. And just, I don't know, why not? I like money and, But I don't know if I'm doing that thing. So I could have a very exciting room sales of selling a lot of stuff that would be pretty exciting, or not. So that's up in the air. Are you bringing stuff to sell, Steve?
I think I only have 2 items.
Don't you dare say that Obi-Wan. David Carr better buy that.
I'll be bringing the Obi-Wan just for posterity. It's gone with me to every celebration since I've owned it. And then I have a random, I think, Rebel Commando carded figure, which is in pretty nice shape, which I'll be bringing as well. That's it. If you need a Rebel Commando on, I think it's like a 65 back, decent figure, find me.
Right.
That's it, though. At that point, I think I'm going to be so exhausted that I couldn't even think about trying to... I don't really have anything else to sell at this point. But yeah, so... Yeah, that'll be fun. Hopefully, maybe we'll get some more live recordings in like we usually do for that.
Oh yeah, we definitely will. We will take you to the room sales. You will be with us if you are not there. Although a lot of people are going. Not too many people not going.
Yeah.
Although, what did that serve to do, Steve? Other than just twist the sword for those who did. I'm also bringing to Celebration actually a mystery item, Steve.
Oh.
So I have...
What else can you say about this mystery?
I have what I believe to be a photocopy of a Meccano 12-back proof card.
Oh.
And there's lots of history behind this thing. And I look at it, and it sure looks like it's a photocopy, but I want to get to the bottom of it. And okay. I know the person who sold it. I know the person who bought it. I know the person who gave it to me. I know the person who said they have it. I know the person who... So there's this whole bunch of interesting stories. And I just feel like mixing it up a bit. And so I'm going to bring this too. I'm going to talk to Mattias and talk to him, see what he thinks about it. And I'll talk to a few other people. And we might be able to get to the mystery of the 12-back Meccano proof.
That's like a mini documentary in itself.
Yes, it is.
We should videotape it.
Maybe, yeah. Although
we'll see.
We might wind up getting into fistfights with people who hunt for toys. Oh
man, you're dropping hints there.
Dropping hints at some of the protagonists, antagonists, man versus nature, nature versus food. I don't know what the things that could be going on here. Steve, this was supposed to be a 10-minute update segment.
I know, and it's funny. Tessa's like, yeah, so you guys are going to be 10 minutes, right? And she just kind of looked at me like, it's okay, though. I mean, we needed to do it, so...
Yep.
Yeah.
Skye here again, and the collector panels are pretty interesting on Friday. We got a panel on action figure customization. We got worldwide Star Wars oddities. So that's kind of cool because that's going to have Ron Salvatore, old friend Joe Iglesias. Not that he's old, but we haven't talked to him in a couple of years. And, of course, the benevolent grump of the hobby, John Alvarez. Although, did we stop calling him the benevolent grump? Because if we did, then now he's going to be grumpy again, but still benevolent. Vintage Star Wars coins featuring the guy who was supposed to be on this month's episode, Will Grief, and also Mark Salati and James Gallo. So if you remember that from the coin book, and Gus, of course. The Elvis Trooper will be talking about the 501st Rebel Legion and those kind of club collectibles. And then something I'm particularly excited about. If you remember from last month, Amy's... Now, she didn't pronounce it like super authentic, so Schoberg, not Schierberg. Amy Schoberg and Jared Clark, the I don't know, Photoshopper dopper of the crew, are going to be talking about Ewok collectibles, and I think that's going to be a really good one. That's from 6 to 7 on Friday. So as you get ready for the room sales, go check out some Ewoks. So
we're on to Saturday now, right?
Yes.
Okay, so Saturday is a pretty big day for you. Because you're emceeing, aren't you? You're the Collector Track MC Saturday.
I'm the Collector Track MC, so that means I get up and talk to everybody and tell them to sit down, shut up, and eat your tots.
Yep. You were good at that last time. I think you balanced it between like stomping them into submission, then making them laugh and feel comfortable. I think you did a good job.
It's like being in a relationship with me. But the problem was last time I relied on a joke that's not going to go over quite as well, where every time I'd end it with, and look out, you might just learn something too. I don't think I'm going to be quoting Bill Cosby this time. I don't think that's in good taste.
Maybe go the G.I. Joe, like knowing is half the battle thing.
Yeah, that G.I. Joe is stupid. So.
Well, I'm not a G.I. Joe fan either, but hey, man, you like to pick the fights, don't you?
I do. I never got anywhere with making fun of Battlestar Galactica.
No.
Remember when that used to be a brave statement that you thought Battlestar Galactica was dumb? Remember that?
Yeah. That was definitely something you were harping on early in our show's history. But on an important note, we still need to find you a replacement for just a bit of that MC job, because at 4:30 p.m. at the podcast stage, which is I think room 208 AB, we have our second live show, which I guess is like they've never had a podcast stage before, so I'm a little freaked out by it. But it's going to be awesome because we have all the like big guns coming to help make it easier for us. I think my goal is to not say a word in that whole hour, and just like keep track of the time and make sure we get everyone in there. But so that's going to be on the main podcast stage, and we'll have Gus and Duncan. We'll have Ron, Chris, G, and Todd Chamberlain, and we'll also have Pete Vilmer. said that they're in and ready to go. It'll probably be kind of like a rapid fire because we only have an hour, but the fact that we can squeeze all those guys into 1 hour and hopefully get a decent crowd, I think that's great. So
yes.
And on that note, we haven't talked about our magnets. The only way you can get a Vintage Pod magnet is going to be to show up at one of those live shows. We only have, I think, about 100 of them total. So yes. hopefully we'll get enough between those two shows that 100 people show up. But we may be including those in other activities later. We'll see.
No, we won't. No.
Nope, that's it. Are you going to burn them, Skye?
That's it. I'm going to burn them. No. I'm going to burn them in the hotel room.
I'm just picturing you going around with a sledgehammer and just smashing them into bits.
Oh yeah, if those Digby Wing Pilot 4-ups don't sell, I'm smashing those things through it on the ground.
That is where I draw the line.
Okay.
Anyway, so yeah, we'll have our live show from 4:30 to 5:30 on Saturday, and then immediately after that, you have to get back to the panel room.
Steve, 4:30 to 5:30 in room 201.
Yeah.
So this is going to be a pretty big deal. This is going to be a pretty great podcast. We've never had Pete Vilmer on the show before.
We might have. Was he on one of the? Was he in the Stitch studio?
Yeah. We talked to him,
but not an official interview with Pete.
This is more of a thing here.
Yeah.
And, it's going to be. See, I'm going to try to not talk very much.
Okay.
I didn't say I was going to try hard.
All right.
I'm going to make a nominal effort to not
see. I'm going to have to be the jerk that I was telling you. I think I might have sent it in an email. I want to have cue cards that say with a big red circle with Gargan for no Largan Gargan. So whenever we're getting close, I'm just going to hold up on one of those live TV shows. I'm going to hold up the Largan Gargan card to let you guys know you got to move on.
I love it. No Largan Gargan. I love it. That's good. You have to look out for me and Ron because we'll just wind up
yeah, I know.
Talking. Yeah. It's kind of like Buster Keaton when. Okay, Gargan Largan. That was me, by the way, not him. So that's Saturday, and then Saturday night there'll probably be room sales Saturday night as well.
Yeah, but you're forgetting another thing. The reason you definitely need to leave our podcast at 5:30. Aren't you having your own panel right after that?
Yes, then I'm giving a panel.
So you got to run back. It'll be like I don't know what I'm picturing. I'm just picturing you in a mad dash from that room, which I'm picturing is going to be at the far opposite end of the convention center to the collecting panel. So.
It's going to be like O.J. Simpson in the commercial for Samsonite, where he had to run through the airport. So I'm going to just try to make my way all the way through all of the great, formerly safe and cuddly, now discredited African-American stars of the past 50 years. See Chuck Berry reference maybe I could go for. Yeah. Well, I have talked about watching people go to the bathroom. Anyways, so yeah, I'll be running across and I'll be doing the elite character focus, elite character focus collectors panel.
Yes.
And by elite, I mean those guys are elite, and I'm there too. And that's not me doing false modesty, which I do pretty well. This is real modesty because they have just these really awesome collections. But it'll be fun. So it's going to be me and the Bills.
Yep.
Which makes me think of Office Space.
Yeah.
The Daves. So Bill Cable and Guinness Book of World Records holder Bill McBride talking about C-3PO and Vader respectively, and me talking about Chewbacca. And it's going to be a really fun talk. There's going to be lots of good information. It's going to be a little bit different than the other focus collector talks that we've had, and I'm just really excited. I might tell the story when I'm there, I might not, but when I went to Celebration 3 in 2005 and I watched, I think it was Dustin Roberts, Bill Cable, and I forget the third person.
God, I think I was in that panel. All right, not in it, but I remember watching it.
Yeah, and I remember thinking man, well, I thought I should be up there, which is ridiculous. But I remember thinking, like, one day I want to be up there doing this panel. And even though I've done panels before, I'm really excited to be doing it. I just hope, next time it'd be good to have you up there, Steve, talking about, like unloved character focus panels. So that's at the 5:30 time?
I think it's at 6. I think you have like a half hour to get over there.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, and then Saturday night, like you said, I'm sure there usually is like a kind of room sales round too with whatever else is going on. It's also going to be the California Club kind of pub night. It's nothing super official. I just told people in the club if they want to come out to. I think we decided on. God, I forgot. God, this is terrible. What's the place called? It's a nearby restaurant in Anaheim that they have like outdoor seating and they have a good menu and plenty of beer and all that. But hold on one second. I feel like a jerk not remembering what this place is called. 1 second.
I don't like editing, Steve.
I know. Sorry, Skye. Okay. Okay. Lazy Dog, of course. Okay, so the Lazy Dog, it's in Anaheim. It's a short drive, I think, from the convention center. But I told people if, California guys want to start showing up around 8 o'clock, hopefully I'll get over there soon after that. But so that's my kind of last, I think, thing I have to do. That's the last thing on my schedule.
Skye here again. If you can't tell, Saturday is going to be the craziest day. In addition to the Star Wars Collectors Archive podcast, which you will come see with our A-team of guests, Todd Chamberlain, Gus, Chris Georgoulias, Ron Salvatore, Pete Vilmer. I mean, a veritable whoever been who of the archive is going to be there. In addition to the swap meet from 7 to 9, in addition to the California dinner, which if you're a California collector, you should come out to. Let's see, at the collectors panels, there's like this weird one presented by Lucasfilm. That doesn't sound very good. Oh, I guess I shouldn't say that. But if it's officially sanctioned, how good can it be? And then what's cool is there's like lots of great stories. So that's going to feature Chris Fawcett, or CJ, Tommy Garvey, and Mattias Rendahl, talking about really cool old stories. I'm particularly excited to hear Tommy, because he's, of course, the archivist of the hobby. And then it says here that Mattias will also be giving a talk about proofs and chromolins, but I think that's actually on Sunday. So check with the schedule when we get there. Then a whole thing on props and costumes, which will be cool if you're interested in that realm. A concept of Star Wars pickers, which I think is kind of a neat idea. It's going to have Bobby Sharp, who always finds stuff, Shane, and CJ again, friend of the show and creator of many segments. So that's just a lot of cool panels going on Saturday. Although it is weird that they're not all entirely accurate. And another thing I've just learned too is after panels, you can go and like hang out in the social room and ask more questions. So, Steve and I will do that and we'll hang out and talk to people. So good. I think that's it. So I'll see you guys at least at the podcast and perhaps at the Elite Character Focus Collecting on Saturday. Okay, back to Steve and I blabbing about Celebration. Right, and then Sunday I actually leave in the morning.
Okay,
because when you teach, it's great because you have so much free time. Not free time, time where your work is not in a physical place.
Yes.
Boy, does that mean when you actually have to work, you have to work. So I couldn't take off Friday and Monday. So I'm flying back on Sunday, and it's killing me. I'm seeing all these things that are going on Sunday, and I'm going to miss the Star Wars Forum UK podcast, which is a bummer.
Yeah.
I wanted to go there and, talk to those dudes and support them.
Yeah. Well, they'll be at the archive party, which is good. So,
that's true. Yeah.
I'll be there. Yeah.
We have Bury the Hatchet. You can listen to their podcast, the Star Wars Forum UK. And,
yeah.
They interview us, so that's fun.
Yeah, I think that's going to be coming out probably right around the same time this one is. Yeah. So yeah, that sucks that you have to leave Sunday. That's a bummer.
Yeah, but at least I get to come at all.
Yeah.
I had to tell the chair of my department like 3 months ago, 2 months ago, 1 month ago, and still there's already something planned during it. I'm like, I can't. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
This is the first time, Steve, in 5 years of working here, I've taken a day off for a reason that is not an academic conference. So I've never been sick. I've never taken a day off because my kids were sick. Car breakdown, not a class. I haven't missed a class for any reason other than an academic conference. So,
I think we should just start, throwing celebrations into the academic conference pool of your time off.
The amount of work. This is way more work than giving a talk about Racine. Phew.
Yeah.
But anyways, that's the talk, Steve. I know that I'm going to be dropping a little, if you want to skip celebration talk in the future bit before this.
Yeah.
Because I imagine in 5 years you don't want to hear all this.
That's true.
But yeah, super fun. Enjoy the show. Come see us.
Please do. Yeah.
And just come to the party. When you come to the party, bring cash, support it, because we want to line those puppies' pockets with Skye back here again, filling in with the rest of Sunday. So in the collector's stage, there is the many scales of Kenner Hasbro figures, which sounds pretty broad, but I think it should be pretty interesting because it's talking about, especially if you like the modern stuff and the old stuff. That's with Ryan Beese and Matthew Fox, associated with the Action News guys. And so that should be kind of a fun, interesting study about the different scales. Of course, there is I believe Sunday is when Mattias's panel is on, so you should go see that. There's a great talk that I'm actually pretty excited about the earliest memorabilia. And so that's got Pete Vilmer, Todd Chamberlain, Steve Sansweet, and Michael Novak. And this is... there's so many reasons I wish I weren't leaving Sunday, but that's definitely the one. Please go watch it and tell me how it was. Say, hey, Skye, the early collecting thing was great. You would have loved it. There's all this cool Chewbacca stuff. The whole thing on trading cards, that's always fun. I watch those, and as focus collectors, you just see all these things that you wish you had. Vintage Star Wars watches and clocks with Tony D'Amata, who's like the clock man. He's always got great stuff in those. And then I guess collecting award presentations. Before we get to Mattias's interview, I actually just want to make one plug. So, we've never asked you to pay for this podcast or to give any money ever, but this is like a heartfelt plea. That charity video that I made with Peter Mayhew, it's at dannysfund.org, and I would really appreciate it if you could go and watch it. Or even if you don't want to watch it, if you could just go there and donate 98 cents. It was for friends of mine whose kid died, and I really want them to feel wow, that's so cool, all these Star Wars fans, they showed up and they bought this stupid song. When you watch the video, you'll know what the stupid song is. But I would just really appreciate it. If you enjoy this show at all, I would really appreciate it if you could show that by supporting dannysfund.org. That's dannysfund.org. Okay, it's not Motorheads, but not a bad ad. Okay, we'll get to Mattias now. Okay, so that was our description of everything that's happening.
Yes.
Now, let's get to the interview with Mattias. I just love
that. You're getting good at that. How's that not hurting your throat?
Try saying it. It's really fun.
I can't.
Mattias. Try saying it.
Mattias.
Yes. It's good.
You got the rasp, though. I can't. That's something I have to master.
I've been teaching all day. I lose my voice. Mattias. Ugra train. How great was that when I interviewed Youthberg, and he was impressed with how much Swedish I knew, because I could say "Ugla train." So that's an inside joke, which we'll just share with you. For some reason, I asked Mattias how to say owl, and then at another moment, I asked him how to say train, and the way that you say owl train is "Ugla train." And so Mattias and the other Swedes are known to drink to excess, and so we just would sort of hang around and just go Ugla train. And so, anyways, hop on the Ugla train. And,
if you can hold your liquor, you won't be falling off the train.
Yes,
being
but
thrown from it.
Right now, you can go to the Ugla train and listen to Mattias as he talks about his new amazing book. Hello, Mattias. This is Skye from the Star Wars Collector's Archive. How are you?
Hey, Skye. How are you?
Yeah, I am doing quite well. You just sent me some sample pages from your new book, and I've never been more excited about a book. I think...
Oh, cool. I sent you this Chewbacca spread on purpose. Thought that would get you going.
It did. Definitely, I've seen enough things in here that I thought might have existed, and then here they are, and they exist. But let's be a little bit more of a formal introduction. So, what is it that you're actually here to promote, Mattias?
For Celebration VII, I'm releasing a new book about proof cards, cromlins, anything to the pre-production stuff. And it's my first book that I'm releasing all by myself. So it's quite a big thing for me.
Yeah, it's been sort of a secret project. You've been talking to me about it every once in a while. And so it's not your first book that you've worked on, though, right? Because you've worked on Gus and Duncan's Guide to Everything and Gus and Duncan's Guide to Prototypes. And
exactly.
So are they producing this, or is this all self-produced?
All self-produced. I wrote it, I designed it and everything, but Gus has been really helpful. He's been editing it for me, so people can understand what I'm writing in my Swinglish.
Right.
So he's been very helpful. Plus, I borrowed a few design elements from our prototype book because I like that in a way, and I want to have some kind of recognition.
Right, I thought that the sort of the mixture of handwritten with typed. Is that your handwriting?
No, it's not. I wish I could say that. That would be like a true designer would answer that. No, this is like cheap font kind of thing already produced. So
right, and I noticed that you used New Century Gothic for all of the.
Very nice.
Well,
yes.
I don't think we've ever talked about it on the show, but New Century Gothic is a font that you can find on all computers, and that is the font of vintage Star Wars figures.
Exactly.
So
and actually two others on the card backs, which people think is central, the same font, but it's not.
Okay, what is it?
I won't say. Because and that's like for reproduction purposes. I've got like letters from design firm stating all the fonts, and I was talking to Ben Sheehan, who went to visit Derby, and some of the latest reproduction stuff, they got like everything right, all beside the fonts.
Wow!
So I'm keeping that back on a purpose.
Wow, super secret fonts, huh?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, well,
it's not difficult to guess, but I figured like I will leave it out. I blurred it. Oh, that was a difficult word. Blurred it in some of the scans in the book.
Huh. Well, the good thing is that when you say blurred and you say it poorly, you actually blur the word. So it's almost like an onomatopoeia.
Very good.
So then I remember when we were talking about it, you were trying to figure out how you were going to release these books, because it's public knowledge that there will be more books following up, right?
Yeah, no, that's correct.
So you've basically taken pictures of almost every proof in existence that's out there, right? I mean, you've scoured the earth.
Yeah.
And so how are you dividing it up? So if this is a proof book, what is actually contained in this first volume?
It's like almost everything known about Star Wars, the first era from 77 to 79. It contains like only with stuff connected with the Star Wars logo and the first packaging. No Empire Strikes Back, nothing else. So each character is only the first 21s.
Okay. And so then so that means that, we'll get into the Empire figures with the next book, I presume. And then where will you fit in the Star Wars characters on Empire card backs? So
those will be like the first chapters in the Empire book.
Okay.
It's already titled The Crommelin Strikes Back.
Okay. And what's the first one called?
A New Proof.
Oh, nice. I knew that, Mattias, but it makes for better radio when I say.
Yeah, I was wondering, Did you miss that? Yeah.
I'm thick, but not that thick. Yeah, well, that's interesting what you're saying about the proof, about the font. So, like, is there other stuff that you've had to keep secret in this book?
Not really. No, maybe some. No, I try to be very transparent with all the stuff, with all the names, because like many people think about their hobby as like almost like nuclear dealing and wheelings kind of thing. And no, I kept it very transparent and have left all the names from former employees and stuff in there. So no, not very secret at all.
I mean, I'm very happy for a few things. One, we can finally tell the story about you, Ron, and I in Vic and Lisa's place, taking pictures of all their proofs. That was one of the most fun I've ever had. I haven't been able to tell the story, but they gave us access to just take pictures of their proof collection, which is, I don't know if it's the largest proof collection in the world, but it might be, right?
It might be up there. They got so much to this stuff. It was like amazing, and it was so much fun talking to Lisa, because like I was one of the first guys asking if I could go through their flat files. Everyone always looking at their 3D prototypes and what's on display. So when we went there, you, me, and Ron, I almost felt like Indiana Jones, like going through like forgotten flat files with proof cards, and there was so many items in there that like, oh, so it's here, like been long gone. I've seen like a sales list from Tom or other stuff, and yeah, we found a lot of neat stuff, and you helped me organizing the very professional photo shoot.
Yeah, it was basically like, imagine if you were allowed into the warehouse where Indiana Jones has put the Holy Grail or whatever. I'm sorry, the Ark. I don't follow those Han Solo movies, and like, you just had a chance to open up every box and photograph everything. You had an hour to open up every box and photograph the contents. That was essentially what it was like. But yeah, so that was out in Seattle. Although we should probably say too that, not everybody listening will know who Tom Neuheisel is. And one of the cool things about your book is you actually allow him to tell his story. Can you tell us a little bit about sort of, we've talked about it before, but for the person who's listening to this for the first time because they followed us thanks to the SWCA hashtag. So what is Tom Neuheisel, and how does he tell a story in your book?
He's telling his story about, he's one of two guys that we should be really thankful for saving all of this stuff. I've been working like with the Cromlins and proof cards for many years since I'm a designer and art director, and these things get thrown away all the time. And Tom was at Kenner, and he was interested, almost like a kind of collector despite working in Kenner, and people knew about that at Kenner. And one day, this is like a really long story short. You have to read his whole story in the book. Basically, they asked him if, hey, we're getting rid of all the flat files, the archive with the 2D stuff. We know you're interested in these kind of things. Do you want it, or shall we throw it away? And he said, like, hey, I'm taking it. So he packed his car full, and that's the story how, like, 90% of the cromlins and a lot of 2D stuff was saved.
Right, and so that's so cool to get his story the full way, just a complete story. There's other interviews in there. I'm really happy to see. Looks as though you've included a lot of Tracy Hamilton's C-3PO run.
Yeah.
So that was one of my favorite. There's the magazine Tomarts, and he actually wrote something for Tomarts once that showed the process of how packaging was made, and he presented it at Celebration. And it's just the best to have a collector who can take it from the slide all the way through every single step, having everything. So I love seeing that in book form. And
kudos to Bill Wills and Tracy, for they were doing like one of the first in-depth articles about 2D pre-production process.
But yeah, I can say, Mattias, that this is like, just looking at this, if you have any interest in proofs at all, and I assume if you listen to the show, you probably do, it is just really exciting. Looks like it's going to be, how big is it? How heavy is it going to be?
It's 152 pages.
Nice.
It's not like very heavy, but it's like, and went for nice paper. It's like, it's thick. It's a soft cover, but you get a hardcover feeling of it. It's in Mylar printing on the front, and so I think it will be cool. Tomorrow I'm going to pick it up for the first time. I went to the printers and been there, and tomorrow I'm going to see the whole book for the first time.
And how much is it going to cost, Mattias?
I really don't know yet.
Okay, well,
because
good.
The dollar is, or the Swedish krona is like going bananas. So the dollar is really poor at the moment. So something between $40 and $50.
Oh, okay. Well, good. Something between $40 and $50, or that's like what?
Yeah, we can get a vote. What do you think? I can.
Okay, good. I would say email Mattias. No, but in between $40 and $50. And I mean, to be honest, like, I just look at these pages, and every single page you sent me, I just want to talk to you about it. Like, you write a thing about all the quality control signed 12 backs or signed on the same day, and like, I just want to talk to you about that. And I just want to, essentially, I think we need to have you back on and just sort of answer questions that pop up from this book. But
yeah, that's good.
But what I love is that, we've talked about it a couple times on the show, but the idea of the sort of the Kellerman generation of collectors, and just sort of like this move towards two-dimensional prototypes as being valued, and people taking interest in it. And this book seems like the apotheosis of that. I mean, obviously the prices of proofs have gone up so high that that seems to be verifying it as well. But just, this is coming at the right time, and I think it's going to help people get even more excited about it and forget about the stupid first shots.
Very true.
I'm kidding. Now, I do have an important question for you, Mattias.
Yep.
When people look through this, they're going to see things that they want. Do you encourage them to come up to you and say, hey, seriously, you can tell me where that is? Or would you tell them not to do that to you?
It doesn't matter, because this is so rare stuff. Even before the book, I was aware of quite a few items, but they're so freaking rare and one of a kind, so it's no use bothering people with this stuff, because it's so cool, and I don't think I don't care, but I won't tell where everything is, of course.
Right.
But it's like my ambition was more to show the whole process from scribbling sketches to the proofs. and what's actually is out there is amazing. We're our hobby is blessed in a kind of way that we have so much stuff saved.
Right. So basically, you're saying your book, people should look at it like a for sale sign on a Facebook group.
Yeah. exactly like that. For sale, everything.
Yeah. Well, good.
Now
I know.
Prices on each item in it.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. Whew, boy, imagine that, trying to figure out what everything in the book would run. That's pretty exciting.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, the only last question I have to ask, Mattias, in Return of the Jedi, Obi-Wan Kenobi, Luke confronts Obi-Wan Kenobi and says, why didn't you tell me that Darth Vader is my father? Mattias, why didn't you tell me how to pronounce fantastic properly in Swedish?
Like Frederick did?
Yes, Frederick taught me the true beauty of the Swedish language. I've known you for what, like 10 years? And you've never told me fantastic. Ah, Mattias.
I've tried to a couple of times, honestly. You know how the way you are, Skye. You don't always listen.
Oh, snap!
That's true.
I'm quite sure I've tried to tell you, and then like you're saying it in German, and then like, it doesn't matter. You can say it like that. I like that.
But fantastic is much more fun to say.
I almost say that myself now because you're saying fantastic all the time.
Right.
Or how to say it. So maybe we'll change the Swedish language because of this.
So what you're saying was true from a certain point of view. I get it.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Well, I guess I keep saying the last question. That's bad form. So where can people buy the book?
There will be some announcements soon at dearpublications.com.
DEER?
DEAR. Dear, as in, dear Skye.
Okay.
Dearpublications in one word.com.
Dear Publications, one word. And
yeah.
I won't mention the fact that that's confusing for people who know that your last name means like deer field in Swedish or whatever.
Yeah, Deer Valley in Swedish, and that's my company, my advertising agency's name and stuff. Yeah.
So then why did you spell deer differently for your publication?
Yeah, because I like the that spelling better.
Okay. Okay, good.
There's more love in it. That's why.
I like that.
So I spelled the company name in that way as well.
Oh, okay.
So I can approach clients with, dear clients, how are you today?
So it's like dear clients. Okay.
Exactly.
So Dear Publications, like you're writing to your girlfriend whose name is Publications.
Yep.
Dearpublications.com. Awesome. And at Los Angeles Celebration of Anaheim.
Yeah, that's where be the first time I will ship stuff and sell it. I don't know how many I will bring, but I will figure something out.
Awesome. Well, then we will talk to you probably at some point during the convention for episode 61. But thanks for coming on again. And
of course.
I guess we can just keep saying fantastisch. You're right.
Fantastiskt. Helt fantastiskt. Fantastisch. Fantastic. Great, Skye.
Awesome.
Thanks for having me.
Good.
Okay, Steve, so now we just got to record the outro, which is what I'm doing right now. If you heard the intro and the introduction to Mattias, and then this all happened within 30 seconds.
It's the most, quickly assembled archive podcast ever.
Yes. But hey, we're going to be recording 2 more on Friday at 11:30.
11 a.m., Skye. 11. I can start if you really need to be there at 11:30. But
Friday at 11 at the Collector's Stage.
Social. Yeah.
Collector's Social.
Area. Yep.
And then Saturday at 4:30.
4:30 p.m. on the podcast stage.
On the podcasting stage. Yep.
Yep.
So enjoy that. See us. If you've listened to this episode, come up and say Ugla Train. It'll make me happy. That'll just be a sign that you listened to this episode on your way to Celebration. And I hope we got you psyched, because it's going to be great. It's usually the best moments of my year that are not based on children. Although today, Steve, has been a good day for a couple of reasons. Mm-hmm. One of them, I was renewed at my job for at least one more year.
Hey,
so
awesome.
That's a really, really good thing, seeing as my parents are moving here to live near me.
That's
good.
Good
thing I lose my job. And Steve, what started today?
Oh, baseball.
Yes.
Oh, baseball.
So it's an irregular episode, but it's also opening day of baseball.
Yeah.
And so fantasy baseball has
fantasy
started.
baseball's underway. Have I plummeted from number 1 all the way down to 12 or whatever?
Well, it's pretty funny because the projections on Yahoo had
man.
Steve in first place.
I took like 3 different screenshots just to make sure I got it.
Do you know what I did the next day? I have an okay stock portfolio. I went and I sold all my shares of Yahoo because I'm like, this system cannot work.
It's not right. There's something definitely wrong.
They have a systematic failure going on at Yahoo.
If my team was ranked number 1 preseason ranked, then there's something critically wrong in the infrastructure.
They had all the algorithms, and they were able to just look at it and go, "Oh yeah, this guy's a winner. This guy's got it just tattooed on his forehead."
The perennial basement dweller has gone from last to first. What can you say? It happens.
Yep. No, it's going okay. I'm very happy to have Jock Peterson. He got a run in a steal for me today.
1 for 3, right? Yeah.
Yep. He's on your team, Steve. He's on the Dodgers. And my pitching staff was all over the place. So, but it's very exciting.
It's just day 1.
Yep.
So.
It's fun to start. And of course, the last thing, Steve, is we have to make that shirt that says Steve knows more about rugby than I do. So you'll have to get that.
Yep.
For all that and more, jump on the Oogla train to Los Angeles Celebration of Anaheim, and come by, see us record our shows, say hi, be a space freak, and wampa wampa.
Adios.